Hello, welcome to today's episode of The BIM Student. I'm your host Chetna Chauhan. Last few episodes, we have talked about a lot of technical stuff, ranging from digital twins to scan-to-BIM technologies. We have tried to cover a lot of ground in digital transformation in AEC. However, today we will be talking about one of the basic ingredients in the process of BIM, and on the larger scale, the whole process of design and construction, collaboration. Today, I have not one but two very smart women who will drop some real wisdom bombs on the collaboration aspect of BIM process. Annika and Xenia Gordienko. Both Anneka and Xenia are VDC Managers working for General Contractors in Vancouver. Annika is currently working with a US-based construction company, ETRO Construction, while Xenia is working for a BC-based ETRO Construction. Prior to their current post, the two were former colleagues at EllisDon Corporation. The two have been working in the design and construction industry for over 10 years and draw from their experience in UK, Europe, Russia, and North America. Annika has a unique background in studying architecture technology and nuclear design and technology. Xenia carries a valuable combination of computer science and engineering and architecture and design degrees. They are also co-founders of the BIM Kitchen. What is BIM Kitchen? BIM Kitchen is a virtual and physical space in which the whole variety of perspectives are captured across the industry, as well as they share their love for food and draw the parallels discovered between kitchen and office. I couldn't talk more. I will let them talk, introduce the BIM Kitchen, and we all will talk about the basic concept of collaboration in BIM and how has it affected us as BIM and VDC managers in our careers. Welcome to my podcast, Anneka and Xenia. You two are in the same spot in a different time zone, and soon there are chances we'll be all in the same room. Welcome to my podcast.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Briefly, would you want to introduce yourself to my audience? A little bit about you, your journey, what have you been doing all these years, and something about BIM Kitchen too.
My name's Annika. I come from the UK. I was always interested in art and technology at school, and I quite like the logic with maths. So from those subjects, I kind of drew into architecture pretty naturally. I studied architectural technology in Sheffield. Shout out to Sheffield. Then I looked more into kind of energy, sustainability, and fell into the nuclear industry, which was quite a niche coming from an architectural background. I pretty much always was interested in BIM and using different modelling tools whilst at university. Our first year we were taught by a drawing board, and then we were banned from using any computers to generate design.
Oh my god, so you also did that? Because I was very infamous in my university. I totally repelled using a drawing board.
Yeah, all those late nights scratching away the ink.
I hated it.
Yeah, and then as soon as you get to the next years, you're like, oh wow, this is so much quicker using AutoCAD at the time. So
right.
I've always been enthusiastic about a positive change and making things more efficient as a whole. So that's kind of how I fell into BIM and virtual design. I worked for a pretty big engineering firm called Arab and was exposed to different sectors, and moved to nuclear industry and went really detailed in terms of space management and how you can see things from a bigger picture in that industry as opposed to a more detailed and siloed approach that I did. I moved from UK to Canada. I also moved from design to construction, and there's plenty of opportunity here in Canada within the construction industry, and started my role as a VDC coordinator at EllisDon, and then after that just recently moving to Turner Construction.
Okay, wow, that's quite a journey. Let's see, where is Xenia coming from?
The same like Annika, I was curious about new technologies, and my interest was exactly computer science, and where I went for first education, and was too technical for me, honestly. It was kind of piece of art was definitely missed there, and I decided to take part into architecture. Moved from St. Petersburg to Germany, capital of architectural education generally, institutions and university. that educate architecture. And everyone was saying, are you crazy? There's too many architects around. But I was like, I don't care, I want it. And yes, I started pretty much parallel as working for a really large construction company based in Europe as Strabag, but in Germany it's Zublin. And Zublin is well known for great engineers. They're not very good in marketing, they're very good in engineering.
Okay. Which most of engineers are.
They cannot sell themselves well.
Right. I think that's also with architects. Architects are also not good with marketing themselves. Little better than engineers though.
They're better than engineers. Yeah, they're selling their appearance, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now that is great. First of all, I have many reasons to be excited today. One, for the first time ever, I have two women on my podcast together. Women who, as it is, we are few of us in this industry, very few of us. There have been so many times I see myself and maybe one other woman in the meeting where there are big decisions being taken or, something really smart and technical is happening. Not that women are not smart, more than women are not given the message that they are smart. So it is great to have you both. And I just feel it's like most of my mentors in my life have been men. I haven't found enough women in my life to look up to, especially with the kind of interests I had. Same like you guys with technology, and not so good with sketching, more good with computer programming and software and getting the hack of it. So that's one reason. Another reason is your new upcoming podcast. I want to know all about it, what BIM Kitchen is all about. Before we jump into anything serious BIM related, I want to know about the BIM Kitchen.
Yeah, so we're both the co-founders of the BIM Kitchen, and really having both of us being migrants here in Canada and kind of learning about BIM space and generally around here, we kind of felt there was something missing here in Vancouver, and that was just this space that's open and honest. It's something that's welcoming for everybody to just talk about all things BIM and beyond. And, whether people know a little bit about BIM or nothing at all, we just kind of want to raise the awareness and education here and kind of help and support each other.
Okay, but why kitchen?
Love cooking, that's something focused in common. And as we discussed what we wanted to provide to our listeners, we said it should be a place. We actually come from the place, remember?
Yeah.
And it should be super comfy. So something like where you come in and you're nourished, you have a nice conversations, and where the great party started. You're like all in the kitchen, you're coming home, you're coming to your mom, you're coming to your dad, and you're going to the kitchen. So there's the food, it's always warm, and it's like, yeah, this is the kitchen, because we basically like to cook, like to hang out in the kitchen, and we would like to bring something valuable, something nourishing to all this topic BIM. And at the same time, don't be too serious about this, so that people will be comfortable to ask uncomfortable questions called silly questions, but there's no silly questions, no stupid questions, no only stupid answers. And I believe that it's never enough platforms where you can speak about VDC and BIM. It's just like everyone should find guidance, and you can listen here and you can listen here, great ideas forming a line, and it's just never enough.
Yeah, and I don't know about your house, but in my house, the kitchen is really the heart of the home. So
I think most of the homes' kitchen is the heart. Most of the homes get sold because of their kitchens, right?
It's an expensive spot.
Yeah.
and I think it's a place where everybody unites. Any two people can bond over good food. So I think this is a really, really good idea. And I would be looking forward to the podcast. I'm actually jealous of the name and the quirkiness of it. I am, because mine is like really, really strict. And I am not that person. I am a very fun-loving person. Like, why did I not think about kitchen? Or why did I not think about something more fun? But okay, I'm glad at least you guys are part of my podcast, and I'm really, really happy about this. Let's get to what we were talking about a few days ago, and which is collaboration. And we've had so many podcasts about all the technical details and LODs and digital twins and everything. But I think everything in BIM boils down down to, or even not in BIM, in our industry boils down to is collaboration, because it's not a one-man show. It never was. Even if I go back like 500 years ago, architecture and construction and engineering was never a one-person show. People have to come together to build a structure, leave apart roads and bridges and everything else. Even like a simple home, people have to come together. So collaboration, communication is the basis of our industry. And how do you guys look at it? You guys coming from architecture and construction background. I have an architectural background, but now I work with almost everybody, even computer engineers now, even with coders now. And I feel that collaboration is missing and communication is missing. We really miss the ethos of what we are trying to do. How do you guys look at it?
For me, collaboration is exactly this thing of people coming together and working together. And I think traditionally people were a bit more protective of their information. And the reason I love BIM so much is because you're actually breaking down the walls and saying, okay, here's my information, and now we're all together on the same page, working together. In reality, that always quite pan out that way. So it still is a huge challenge, but you can have the best technology out there, you can develop the best processes, but if you don't have that people piece, which is so key and fundamental, building efficiently, is collaboration. So yeah, I feel that people need to be able to be open and honest and just start talking to each other at a very simple level.
Do you think at any point of time you had faced something where collaboration was replaced by technology? Any time in your life?
Technology can try to replace collaboration, so it can provide you the platform in order to force you to communicate and write things down and message through these platforms and things, but that still doesn't stop people from not participating. So it's that common thing of garbage in, garbage out, or for me, rubbish in, rubbish out. So I feel like if you're not entering information or you're not using those platforms that are available to you, then you're not collaborating. So I feel that you can give all the best things and processes and technology to people to use to help communication, but if they don't use them, then there's nothing you can do.
Technology basically doesn't do the job of replace, just like supporting communication.
Right.
And as that with the increasing of communication of project, it's just something what you're putting in and is there. That is one side. Like again, to your example, going back in the time, like a lot of information that have to happen in our minds to sit and like maybe you even don't have like a paper and pen to take a notes. It's just exactly everything nailed down to people. Here now we have the possibility to increase our RAM, right? And save something there. Even in my personal life, everything is because my Google Calendar is not in my head anymore.
Oh yeah. It is also because I feel we have made our life more complex than it should be. Like some things can be really simply solved by picking up a phone and asking a question, or writing a text and asking a question without getting apprehensive that how would you be understood. Simple things. Do you think in our industry, especially in construction, collaboration is that simple that you can pick up a phone and ask a question? Don't have to go, I mean, it's a big change or it's a big piece of information that requires lengthy documentation. For sure, we go the RFI routes and everything else, but something really, really simple. Do you think it can be as simple as picking up a phone and asking a question?
So I feel that it can be to a certain level, but it really depends on kind of contracts and what communication protocols are in place in many projects. But if you develop a good enough relationship and rapport with people, I feel that you become more comfortable in just picking up the phone. The evolution of our mobile phones is a simple example. I mean, how many people do you know who still use a Nokia or the old school phones that exist? Most people are on smartphones now because they find it as the easiest way to communicate. Less people are inclined to pick up the phone and talk to people. I feel that sometimes people overthink it, and it can be that simple. It can be as simple as, I'm going to pick up the phone and ask for this information because I don't have it. I don't want to go through all the various hoops. Sometimes on projects, it is a requirement that you need to go through the proper protocols that's in place depending on your contract.
I just wanted to add as well, it depends on like what we're speaking about. Personally, because English is not my first language, I prefer to be in person. So in terms of like, I have a question, I have to ask it first. If I have possibility to run upstairs and ask my boss or somebody from the team to do that. The second, I will call, right? If it's somebody on site and I have a question, and then only third, I place in my case, I will write an email. And then then it's like in terms of all email conversation, it's just too much, right? So sometimes we're receiving so many emails and how we can filter this. So exactly where technology is stepping in and help us to filter what is important, what is less important. And here again, we can right now working as VDC Manager at ETRO Construction. And we said everything what is internally, it can be on Slack. So it's basically like little chat. You can share images, you can share documents, you can share links. But if it's external team involved in the project and somebody has to be CC'd, and like it's important information, maybe even internally, but this person has to be notified about this. And maybe it's important for archiving this information, then it will be the email form. But anyways, I have to say that I reduce large number of email. I'm just thinking who I'm speaking
Right.
to.
So could you give like one example where, and we'll come to the like really good collaboration platforms available out there, but especially at your work, somewhere where collaboration literally saved the days. It was like, thank God for that meeting, or thank God for that collaborative effort we were able to do this, because I in my silo was thinking about this problem this way. I mean, I will share mine, but I want to listen from you guys.
So I'm probably a bit biased here, but I really passionately believe simply a BIM coordination meeting, whether you want to call it a BIM coordination meeting or not. I feel having all the parties involved in that meeting, having that perspective of everybody in one room, that is really a collaborative approach. And I feel things like the BIM coordination meeting or a big room concept, if you're working in a more lean environment, that's where the magic happens. Like you're cutting out all those RFIs, you're actively problem solving, you're reviewing issues and making decisions. Everybody in the room is in agreement, they speak up and say differently. But for me, that is a powerful meeting to have.
Yeah, definitely. The same I consider as actually as for the trades meeting, where I'm forming this model and then it can be on site. Very often it's on site and we're just reviewing the issue and having some additional tools, technological tools. And it's just like the 1 hour before, like my project manager, oh my God, it's like a 3 RFIs, this is schedule broken minimum for 3 weeks. Everyone is panicking. Their meeting, because it's emergency meeting, trades meeting, we're on the spot reviewing this, and my guy like, oh no, I can move this chair and move this way too. And it's like, hallelujah, everybody on the same spot, and we save some time. Yeah, so that's exactly when important people coming together and they discuss it openly, and that's exactly nice environment there. I have an example of the bad collaboration.
Okay, I want to hear about it.
Well, all the stories of like architects don't want to share their models, you know. No, it's a current situation is the COVID.
Okay.
I don't want to speak against masks or something, but what I saw the technology helped me, and where it was like following my previous path, and I had changed my mind. I had to run our team, the different trades. It was trade meeting, and had to run them quality control, which we are going to have on this team. And I decided to go to site, even though it was exactly December last year, and I decided to be with the mask and run the show in person, because I'm, how I said, like my first one, I'm better with mask. And then we were on site, it was super loud, we are close to the highway, construction is loud too. I'm in this room with the mask, right? And trying to explain, and ladies, it was literally 15 minutes explanation how to do things. I was standing there for 45 minutes, sweating, right? It's like, excuse me guys, so I'm out of here and I will record it with you with my face, with my hands, something for 10-15 minutes. It's everything was just, they had the trouble to understand me anyways, a German-Russian accent, right? And then my face was covered. It was a nightmare for the poor guys. It was a nightmare for me. So what I'm taking out of this, it's not always good to be in person if exactly some conditions are on the way. And thanks to technology, it could be solved.
Okay, I have an example, a really good example, which saved me like at least 4 days of work. And you know how much it means when there is this project that has all these things to be done, all these standards to be checked against, when it's especially, I worked for architects for the longest period of time in my life. So I know that there is this inhibition in architects that, okay, do we really need to share this information? Is it even in our scope to share this information? If I don't understand something, I cannot do it. There was this IFC model that was supposed to get out of the office to our energy modeler. When we combined the model together, forgot to attach the mechanical model into the IFC. So there was this IFC model that was our energy modeler was supposed to do energy simulation. So I forgot to attach it and I sent it out, and this guy emailed me and he said that he cannot do anything with the model because, I don't know, there was some confusion in that and it was all going back and forth in the email. So, you know, when you read something and you interpret something else, I was like, I sent everything, I don't know what he needs. And And then I realized at one point of time that there was no mechanical model. And I don't know why I thought that we don't have a mechanical model. I said, okay, why don't I do this? Why don't I do the basic modeling? Because I know the design. I am the BIM coordinator. I shouldn't be doing this. I was like, no, this needs to get out. And let me do a little bit of modeling. And I could see some PDFs that I said I should do something. And I said that I would give it to the energy modeler and then coordinate with the MEP team and ask them that where is the model. But I just CC'd on that email that I was having a back and forth with the energy modeler that we still don't have an MEP model. Our team is preparing and I will help my team to get it faster to you. Just at CC, and this guy who was on the team, MEP team, he said, no, we have the model and just give us like 10 minutes. I will do everything. All of that got sorted out with just one CC on the email. If it was not for this email and if it was not for this, simply just common sense that if you're talking about an MEP model, just put one of them in the team and it solved my problem. I mean, something's very small, but could just save the day, just could save your hours of work. So that has been, I feel, very, very important. That point of time, I thought that, okay, so whenever I'm doing a next collaboration meeting, I have to have important people in the meeting or at least in the CC. Writing a follow-up email has been my thing ever since. That, okay, we had this meeting. According to our meeting, this is what we say. If anybody disagrees, let me know now. I think this has become my thing ever since, that do a follow-up email or CC people. Sometimes people do get irritated. Why am I on this email? I'm like, just in case. Not just to promote a tool, but do you have a favorite collaboration tool? Or you say that, oh, I use this and it could have been better.
What we use is Microsoft Teams.
Okay.
And my recent experience of Teams has been surprisingly great in that I've actually communicated with an external partner, so a subcontractor who I'm working with on a project over Teams. So now he chats to me in Teams like I would with somebody internally. So again, that piece of opening up the channels of communication and just feeling comfortable with back and forth, any queries, questions that you might have. Very easy to just quickly chat or try and pick up the phone with somebody externally as well as internally, which I found pretty cool.
We have integrated, I think, a couple of CRM platforms also into it.
Yeah.
So
my favorite tool is actually, I really like our collaboration, Google Sheets. Yeah, so ETRO is all on Google. We have all Google tools. We don't have Excel actually. No, we don't. Microsoft Office.
You don't have Microsoft Office at all?
No,
You're on Google based.
Well, that's nothing again. Just internally that everything that the sheets will be placed on the Google Drive to ensure that everyone is collaborating there. Unfortunately, not every company is happy with this because you have to have your Google account, right, to log in. But at the end of the day, it's just so much easier. It's your data, it's all these additional tools of formatting. I just
So coming back to collaboration, what is one or a few collaboration side complaints you would have from inside? Because now you both are coming from a general contractor side. If you have to say that it would be good if consultants collaborated with us on this, what would be your top things that you would say that at least these 3 things we really need them, or these 2 things we really need them to collaborate with us?
I would like to change the attitude of collaborating with the JCs. How we know JCs, General Contractor, they're having a lot of money and they have a lot of intelligence on board. They're not longer just the builders, not longer laborers. They're many smart individuals and they analyzing the data which is coming from the consultant. And many people who are working for JCs this well in the past consult. They just wanted to get more money and it's the reason why they end there. Okay, we wish or not. And thinking about this, that JC can bring some value into your design. Just knowing this, thinking that they could, that's already something I'm expecting from the consultants that they will ask. And the other thing, what I would like to see from their consultants as well, is just as well to understand the JC job. And some little things like additional parameter in the wall, creating your Revit family doesn't really cost consultant a lot of time, but it takes a lot of time and just where I could create faster the drawings instead of and figure out how the families were created and why they were created this way and add the attribute. And actually, I'm not the person who is carrying the information. I forward to figure it out. Where is this wall and why this wall is created in this style, and so on. So at the beginning, we could, if we knew, if as an architect, I knew that it will bring a value to GC. At the end of the day, I will
simply talk to us soon. Let us in. Let us help you. And if figure out these small details so that I can get those parameters added in earlier. That would save so much time because we want to reduce waste, right? So the easiest way to do that is to just smooth out information so that it's constantly being built upon instead of producing things, throwing it most of it away and then restarting. So I think having some of those requirements in early and engaging us in conversations early will really help to smooth out that.
And here we're not speaking about a lot of money because like very often clients is concerned, or like GC concerned as well, to involve trades early in the design, right? Like, oh my God, they'll ask for a lot of money. We're speaking about like exactly collaboration meetings where a person can just call and listen and know in which direction is going, the project goes, right? And yes, here we are thinking of course about design build type of contracts, type of projects or IPD, which kind of already makes sense. I believe that it's not necessary to have this type of contract. It's just exactly bringing right people at the beginning that they will be informed.
I want to be consultant's advocate here. I feel architects and engineers are not paid by the client exactly how much they are worth or how much they should be, right? Which also means never an architect or an engineer wants to deliver a bad design. They don't want to deliver unbuildable design. However, what happens is that, and it's like a lot of liability for the design and structural integrity of whatever we are building. A lot of that comes down to the consultant involved. If God forbids there is any kind of structural failure or something that has been designed, the cost of the construction goes up, or a mechanical engineer in pursuit of creating an energy efficient design, energy efficient system tries to introduce something that is novice. I won't say for all contractors, but sometimes because contractors want to build and make money, which all of us want. All of those things are not looked at with the same respect. That if an architect is designing something and it is something that satisfies both their creative pursuits and they want to deliver something really good, and that is the inhibition that consultants have, that if we get contractors involved pretty too soon, it might hamper our creative process or our innovation, right? This is one of the fear, but then there is liability issues. There are all sorts. I feel the relationship between the designer and the contractor from the past has not been a very nice relationship. That we could trust each other, that contractors are not going to hamper my design or my creative pursuit. And the contractors have that trust that when designers are designing something or they are engineering something, they are doing it because they have done all the analysis and the calculation beforehand. So I think it's also the fear that is there in the consultants that maybe this information, and when we talk about sharing information or getting involved, maybe this information, I might not be so sure because I don't have enough documentation to back it up, but this is a good design. Or sometimes some things are better placed in text and 2D than being shown in 3D because it makes sense, it saves time. Maybe we're not paid enough to actually get into that detail. So I think the overall perspective from the owner's side also needs to change.
Yeah, I feel like it's the money that actually stifles the creativity and constructability. So what happens is architects do all their great designs, they come to some sort of agreement, and then get into the construction phase. You end up with things getting built, okay, it's fine, and then we start to run out. And the reason we're running out of money is because either you're schedule, over budget, different factors come into play, but ultimately most projects end up going down a value engineering route. If you thought about constructability a little bit earlier, I think you'll find that GCs want to find ways to make the building in a way that it was intended.
Well, currently I was listening in presentation and they holding this. Just started this very important graph. You know this graph for sure.
Yes,
from 2004, how the effort in BIM project is shifted to the beginning, right? And like this is the condition of the BIM project where yes, exactly, effort from the back of the project shifted to the beginning, to the consultant. And it means that consultants have to be paid for this.
Right.
When this change didn't happen, you know, so it's like we are pushing a lot of parameters and wishes on the consulting side without understanding that it's like that's on the back of the project. This is what you pay for your BMS team, right?
Right.
They will come back and collect all this information, and these guys are not cheap. sure. And now you're like having all the structural spreadsheets again and all your collected documentation, and it's kind of like, oh, that's exactly my expectation. But no, it's not expectation.
Okay, so that means one solution to this whole collaboration issue could be that when consultants are retained for a project and the projects have been signed and all of that, a major portion of their fee needs to be paid beforehand so that they can employ the technologies and the processes beforehand so that the later stage becomes smooth enough. I would say how we look at consultants and how we pay consultants could be one of the solutions. More inclusivity also at the level when people are starting in this industry, when you freshly are out of the college. I feel that is when there are a lot of workshops and a lot of ways where you know that I was somebody who was on a construction site at a very young age, but a lot of people who get into the design room have never been on construction or have been on a construction site only when the construction almost complete or at least some structure has been done. So when they look at things at that point of time, there is no way going back and changing your design at that point. That, oh, I could have built it differently. So I think contractors inviting more consultants on site and having somebody from the design team on the construction site all the time, just like you have site supervisors, have all the superintendents that you have. Somebody from the design team needs to be in the construction site all the time.
One thing that I've found really helpful in terms of platforms we have available to us now, just simply going on a site visit with a 360 camera, doing a video walkthrough has drastically helped the design team understand and get more knowledge about the site without having to be there physically. If you want to go on site, you have to keep asking. So I think it's almost down to the individual and how passionate they are about being aware and
comfortable to be uncomfortable.
You just have to keep asking. But I think you'll find that general contractors are very happy to have people on site. It's just a case of planning the time and day, and there you go.
I think we will have to take this discussion like maybe in another episode for this, because now it's time for our impossible questionnaire. So when you said that we should be asking uncomfortable questions, now I am going to ask questions that will make you guys really, really uncomfortable. But that is the whole point behind this impossible questionnaire, that sometimes contractors can learn a thing or two from architects too.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Ready to go.
Impossible questionnaire. I am going to ask 4 questions in total. Okay. And there's no gift hamper.
Oh, sorry.
You're only virtual hugs if you want. But so 4 questions I'm going to be asking, and assuming 2 of each, but if somebody wants to take all 4, I'm okay. Question number 1. The minimum allowable length of a bearing for wood floor joist on a masonry is how much?
We don't know.
The answer is 40 mm.
40 millimeters, okay.
4 centimeter, okay? If you had heard previous podcast, the next question you might know the answer to. And the question is, which pipe fitting may not be used in a vertical drainage system? A cross fitting, a Y fitting, a double Y fitting, a double waist fitting.
Oh, cross.
It's going to be a doubles, one of them. I think. Do we just take 50-50? X or Y?
There are no lifelines.
Oh, double Y?
No, it's cross fitting.
Oh.
Remember, it's a vertical drainage system. There can be no cross. Okay, next question. Which of the following cities is located in the heating degree day zone of 2? Parry Sound, Huntsville, Ottawa, Petawawa.
I don't even know what that is. Do you want to explain what that is?
Yeah.
I will later on, but let's get to the answer. So the answer is Petawawa. Okay, and we'll get to what a heat degree day zone is as soon as I find out.
Fair enough.
Okay, last question. What's GFCI?
I've never heard of that either. Ground force conditions.
The ground is correct.
Ground is correct.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Ground fault circuit interrupters, also known as GFIs, which is ground fault interrupters. They can trip in 1/40th of a second. This safety feature protects you in wet locations like kitchens and bathrooms. They are required in exterior locations.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I didn't know before I read this question.
Right. That was definitely impossible.
We are almost towards the end of this podcast, and just before you go, I want to know your rosebud and thorn when we talk about collaboration. Rose being something, a benefit of today, where you see collaboration can take us, or some particular collaboration tools are headed to. And a thorn, like, is it too much? Is there any kind of collaboration too much collaboration?
The rose for me is, I think, fun that you can have on projects when you collaborate, and that development of relationships, getting to know different people from all different disciplines. I think that's really successful when it happens, and it just makes your project more fun, the whole environment more fun. Talking about, I'm more aware of everyone's information, and it's great. I love that.
I would like to add to this. Yeah, based on experience in different projects, if it's successful collaborate project, that it's a lot of fun, and you're going to work every day. You're working many hours, and if the person who you have to speak to, it's a nice person and really open mind and ready to jump on spot. I remember as I was thinking about what kind of boss I would like to be. I remember one of my bosses, it was every time if I'm entering his office, he was sitting there and I had a feeling that he was waiting. It's exactly what means for me the collaboration. It doesn't matter what was person doing on the phone or not, but I was always with this feeling he was waiting for my question. And if exactly you're surrounded by these people who are oh yeah, think about this, and you understand value their times and their working time and this explanation point, oh my god, I just love this project, I love these people who are working with, and of course the success, quality, and final result, this is just so much fun. You're just proud.
Okay, so what about thorns? Any kind of collaboration is too much collaboration.
For me, the thorn, small percentage of people who just do not want to collaborate. They don't want to participate, they'll do the minimum required, they just don't want to. And I don't know, sometimes adoption of different tools or technology can be daunting, but even if you strip away the technology and stuff, they're just not those kind of people that want to collaborate.
Even introverts have right to exist. Some people really cannot talk.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, I think for people who are introverts, technology is a big help, because if somebody really doesn't want to make conversation with somebody, because it's not okay, what is the dimension of this wall? Okay, 10 feet, done. Some people are not comfortable with that. By the way, one collaboration tool I really miss is, you remember Revit had this chatting, a communication chat box, remember?
Yeah.
I really miss it, because what happened that you could actually do snips and send in that chat. If everybody is on, cloud, the project is cloud hosted, in the communication bar, you can just chat. And it was called communication. That tool was there inbuilt in Revit. It was like a chat box in Revit.
There's additional plugins you can get now, which kind of...
We can have plugins for everything, but what is inbuilt, right? I miss that ease. While you're working, you're just oh, I can't see so-and-so element. Where are they? And just send the snap to whoever is working on that. Or please unlock your work set. Or please, can you give me something, so simple and basic, which would sometimes save you days of work. Let's get back to Autodesk with this. Please bring back the chat.
Please. Communication is the key.
They'll just sound even 360.
Right. Okay. It has been such a fun talking to you too. I am looking forward to having more such amazing chats with both of you. I'm looking forward to the BIM Kitchen. All the best. I am really, really happy for you guys. And maybe I can get some interesting dishes from that kitchen.
Yes, we want all your flavors.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. It was really nice having you on, and hope to see you guys soon.
Yeah, here. Just let us know if you're coming to Vancouver. We'll be ready to see you in person.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.